FM 94, The Dark. It is that time again. It's time to get to know a band we play here on The Dark. I'm excited about this, actually. A Minnesota band, and I know I've been talking about this band, Cold Kingdom, for the past couple of months. In fact, one of our listeners, actually one of the clients here that does advertising on our radio station, turned me on to this band, and I'm excited about this interview tonight. I get a chance to talk with Dani, the lead singer of the band Cold Kingdom, and how fitting. It is a chilly night here in Minnesota, isn't it, Dani?
It is absolutely freezing.
Yeah. What do you expect, though? And now you're, if I remember right, you're not originally from Minnesota. Am I correct on that?
The band is. I'm from Wisconsin, so it's equally as cold there, I believe, for most of the winter. Yeah.
So are you a Packer fan then? I take it.
Yes, I bleed the green and gold. I can't help it. I'm chastised for it, but Jason, our bass player, is a huge Bears fan, so we have a little bit of back and forth going, and we could care less about the Vikings fans in the band. So
That's okay. We're just stuck here in central Minnesota, so what else can we root for, right? We have to root for the Vikings, I guess.
Sure.
Hey, I want to get to know about this band a little bit more, Cold Kingdom. And Dani, how did the band all come about? I know this is a pretty young band right now, at least for active rock.
Yeah, we've only been around for, as the band as we have it assembled now has only been around for about 8-9 months. And we've done some really awesome stuff since then. We're really proud of the opportunities that have been put in front of us. But it started off with Evan, the lead guitar player, had been writing some songs, and he's an absolute genius. The stuff that he puts together and the amount of time that he has, it's amazing. And he presented it to our producer, Ian Combs, and recorded some demos. And I had done some commercial work for Ian before, just stupid little sing-songy stuff for a radio commercial, and he had me come down. I had sung in a couple rock bands in the cities before. Had me come down. I sang on the demos, and it was really only purposeful to be a demo, and it ended up working so well that we said, hey, let's do this. So then we auditioned for guitar and bass. Aaron and Jason actually came on from the same band, Seventh Ascent. It was another female-fronted band from the Twin Cities. Things weren't working out there, and Jason said he heard what we did and heard we were auditioning, and so the both of them left that band and came to us. So we couldn't be more happy that they came to us.
Absolutely.
Because they made us whole.
Very cool, very cool. The one thing I always like to ask bands right away is the name of the band. How did Cold Kingdom come about?
Well, we were formed in last winter, which, as you recall, was one of the coldest winters on record in Minnesota, and so we wanted to pay homage to that. But really, that was, a secondary word. The first idea or concept that we came up with the name was revolving around the idea of kingdom, and we had a couple other, words thrown around for kingdom, but we really wanted to sort of revolve the band around the idea that, the kingdom of your creation, there aren't a lot of things that you can control in this life. There aren't a lot of things that, you're the boss of or have power over, but the one thing that you can control is your artistry, your creation. And we really feel like that on a daily basis, that, this is our creation and we're working towards that. And since that is, everything that we do, we want to make sure that we're working absolutely as hard as we can to make a benefit of it.
Very cool. Very cool. We're talking with Dani. She's the lead singer of the band Cold Kingdom, a Minneapolis band. They actually have a release of a CD coming out this weekend. We'll talk about that coming up in a little bit. But I want to get a little bit more about the history of you. I actually, when I was talking with a couple of the people that turned me on to your band and that, they kind of told me your history a little bit. And really, it didn't start out in rock. It started out in opera, but then eventually you kind of switched over to the rock side of things. Talk about that story a little bit.
Yeah, ever since I was a little kid, I wanted to sing, and I had been classically trained. I studied at the University of Minnesota for opera. I was a lyric soprano there on scholarship. It was absolutely everything I did. And of course, I listened to metal, I listened to rock, but everything out of my mouth was classical. And I ended up, through overuse and overtime at the U of M, ended up developing vocal nodules or vocal nodes, which some listeners out there might be familiar with. A lot of singers, professional singers, end up developing them. Adele had them. Chester gets them all the time from Linkin Park. He gets them all the time, which isn't surprising if you listen to the way that he sings. But no matter even how hard and how well you're trained, just if you're singing and singing and singing, and I was doing maybe like 4 or 5 hours a day of singing, they develop like calluses on your vocal folds, and you literally can't phonate or bring your vocal cords together and make a sound. So it takes about 6 to 9 months of rest or surgery in order to get over it, and so it was pretty detrimental to my career. And now I sound like I've been smoking since I was 4 years old.
Which isn't true, right?
Yeah, but I like it now. I mean, my voice is so much more, it's got a lot more character to it, but you have to be careful. Once you get nodules one time, you're more susceptible to get it again. I've had pre-nodules twice since then, but now I know what it feels like. Now I know how to catch it early. I have a great otolaryngologist or an ENT at the Lions Voice Clinic in Minneapolis that I run to the second that I feel something going wrong.
Well, very cool, and obviously that's something you got to always keep in mind, in the back of your mind. If something's going wrong, you want to make sure you get it in the right way so you can continue your singing career. Well,
absolutely, and I mean, a lot of people ask, if I was angry about the way things went, and I'm absolutely not, because like I said, I listened to metal and I listened to hard rock, and I had this really fluty, lovely, voice. It was powerful, but it didn't have that depth and personality and character of the singers that, I was really influenced by. And so after this happened, it was really exciting to listen to my voice change, and now I'm able to do the things that I wanted to, and I'm able to, sound like really what I was passionate about, the music I was passionate about listening to.
Speaking of listening to music, what did you listen to as you were growing up, and kind of maybe what influenced you to turn to this kind of music?
It was all over. It was all over the place. I'm sure most kids, can say the same thing. Of course, you listen to a lot of Disney when you're tiny, and I still listen to all that stuff. I sing constantly. But I got a lot of stuff stolen from me as a kid. I got, let me think, a White Zombie. I can't remember if it was a CD or if it was a tape, but my parents stole that from me. Papa Roach was stolen from me. God, what else was stolen from me? A lot of Green Day, when I was really young. So, yeah, parents weren't too thrilled about it, but I think they're happy now.
We're talking with... Go ahead.
Oh, and as I got older, obviously, those tastes developed, and I fell more into it. I grew up in a really small town in central Wisconsin, so I didn't have, a lot of things available to me on the radio or just in that scene. We weren't aware of these tertiary genres, but as I moved to Minneapolis, I was just flooded with this amazing music, and things really changed around. Did
you grow up in Stevens Point? Is that where you grew up?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, I remember seeing some or hearing something about that. So at least they have a college there, at least, right?
They do, and they do have university radio, and it's a great station. Growing up, that's basically what I listened to. If you were lucky enough, you could tune into. Of course, now I can't remember for the life of me. It was a Chippewa Falls rock station.
Yeah, it's like 94 or something like that too, I think.
Yeah, yep. If I was lucky enough, you could turn into that. Otherwise, the main radio station there was pretty poppy. That mainstream thing is being spit out, and some of that was great, and some of it I really liked. But it's too bad that the people who live in the smaller areas. Back before the age of internet radio, weren't able to access everything that they wanted to, or didn't even know what they were missing.
Well, not here in central Minnesota, because we have the Dark playing today's rock from 2000 till today. That's what we're on right now. We're talking with Dani from the band Cold Kingdom out of Minneapolis, learning a little bit more about this band. And I tell you what, let's learn a few more things about you, and then we'll talk about the CD release coming up, too. How about this question here? What current band in the active rock industry are you really liking right now?
In the active rock industry. So you're talking to a metalhead a little bit here. I guess, Chevelle.
Okay.
Can I count them in as
Yep.
active rock for sure? Really digging them. There's a local band here in Minneapolis called Emergent. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them. They're absolutely wonderful. If people out there haven't heard of them, they should. They're heavier than an active rock sound for sure, but yeah, I would say Chevelle if we want to stick to the active rock genre.
Okay. Here's a question I ask a lot of artists. Now, obviously, your library of music for the band Cold Kingdom, not that large yet, but in the future, what artist out there would you like to have cover one of your songs?
That's an excellent question. If the Deftones want to do a Cold Kingdom cover, I would be pleased as a peach. That would be absolutely amazing.
So you're a Chino fan then, huh?
Yeah, I am. And a lot of people, like to give him a lot of flack for, his breathy style of singing and everything, but the way he manipulates his voice and that breathiness. And he has developed, on, Diamond Eyes, you could really tell that he was singing more and vocalizing more. But yeah, I think they do really amazing stuff sonically. So I'd be interested to see what they come up with.
Hey, no problem here. I'm a huge Deftones fan, so it's all good on this end, okay? Hey, how about if you had to put together a 3-band bill, kind of an ultimate concert, for the night? Cold Kingdom is performing first, and then who are the other 2 acts following?
Periphery.
Okay. Which we play Alpha here on the station here.
You do?
Yes,
okay.
we do.
So,
oh, yeah.
Periphery, they're absolutely one of my favorite bands. See, the guys are going to kill me here because I'm just going to take personal taste into account. Deftones,
Okay.
I mentioned before. And I feel like I should throw something else in there. Prince.
Why not, right?
Because we're living in a fantasy world right now.
Absolutely. And of course, he's Minnesota's own, right?
Sure. I mean, it'd be a weird bill to throw him on there, but...
You wouldn't believe the things that I have had come out of people's mouths. I've been doing this for the last couple of years on interviews from all different artists, and it varies. I've had obviously rock stars, but we've gone to the extreme of like the Rihannas, the Katy Perrys. It doesn't matter. We even had rappers too. So it doesn't matter. It's
lovely.
It is
Prince, and I'm sticking to it.
Absolutely. We're talking with Dani. She's the lead singer of the band Cold Kingdom. Let's talk about you being a lead singer of a band. And it seems like in today's world, female front bands are becoming more and more. And obviously you're seeing that. What's it like, I guess, being a female fronted band?
There's pros and cons, but, there are certainly obstacles that one has to overcome, as a female-fronted group or just as the female member of that group. But there's also great benefits to it. I mean, the benefits being, you stand out from that giant, massive crowd of local bands out there. You're the female-fronted band, and if you can do it well, if you work hard enough, I think... it gives you sort of the leg up. I think it's certainly an advantage. The only disadvantages that I say are just the sort of industry constraints and ideas of what a female-fronted band is or what they expect. Like you said, there have been a lot more female-fronted bands out there, which I think is great. I think that it's wonderful that they're out there. But I'm not necessarily happy with the direction that they're taking lyrically, musically, and idealistically. Just because you're a female-fronted band doesn't mean that you need to be a chick who stands up there and prances around and, is the sort of object. It's a pretty hot-button topic.
Yeah, and I would agree with you on that wholeheartedly, what you're saying, because obviously I believe there are people in this industry that really should be singing, and then there's others that should not be.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a lack of talent. I mean, there's, like I said, there's really great, bands out there, but I mean, who might have been something else. I can't say I wasn't there in the production meetings. I wasn't there when they were recording or coming up with these ideas. But, when you have, an actress who can become an act and famous because she's not wearing much clothing, it's sort of, I don't know, it's a bad face for women in music. Or maybe, Lizzie Hale, super, super, super talented, amazing. I mean, you hear her sing without any focus on it. It's just spot on. But then they go to this sort of really cheesy content that I would be interested to see her, create some things. And I'd be interested to hear what she would do without sort of the industry voice behind her. Maybe it would be the same thing. I don't know.
Hard to say. I guess time will tell, and I think things will get weeded out as they go along. Obviously, seems like the latest craze here is the female-fronted band. I kind of look at maybe the pioneer of this, and I might even be wrong on this. It would be almost going back to like Amy Lee of Evanescence. Would you kind of agree with that?
Sure. I mean, certainly in the sort of rock genre of things. I mean, because punk had been doing it for quite a while.
True.
And, they were open first to having women stand up there and punk and ska. But Amy Lee certainly, and, growing up, not even growing up, I suppose I was older than that. But, I remember when Evanescence came on the scene and I was like, thank God, finally somebody who does something that has content to it and has feeling to it and musicianship and just chops. So,
hey, what's it mean for you to hear your music on the radio? I know you guys have it being played down there in the Twin Cities. What's it mean to have your songs that you're working hard for, getting out there, to actually hear it on the radio?
We do the stupid geeky thing where we kind of freak out about it a little bit. I was in the car with Jason, the bass player, his girlfriend, and we knew it was going to be played on the radio that day, and we were driving to, I can't even remember what show we were going to. It might have been After the Burial. I'm not sure. But we were driving, and we knew it was going to be coming on, and there we were in the car, and we actually got good video of it. It's on our Facebook page if anyone wants to see it, of the first time that we heard it on the radio. And, of course, we screamed and we laughed, and, it was very, very exciting.
We're talking.
It hasn't gotten old.
No, it won't. It won't get old. It'll never get old. Absolutely. We're talking with Dani. She's the lead singer of the band Cold Kingdom. Let's talk about this new album. It's called The Moon and the Fool, and you are actually going to have an album release party coming up here on Friday night down at the Fine Line Music Cafe with 3 Pill Morning and a couple other bands. Let's talk about the new album coming out and give us some of the, I guess, what's behind this album? Why did you guys decide to make an album called The Moon and the Fool? And I've seen the artwork already, which we will have on our Facebook page, The Dark on FM 94, so everybody can check it out. And they can also check out then the Cold Kingdom page. But let's talk about this new album and how it all came about.
Well, it started, we had enough material basically for a full album. We weren't sure if we were going to do an album or an EP. But we wanted to just go in and record everything possible, and that way, if we had to make some cuts and there were some standout tracks, we'd put those on an EP, or if we were at that point, we didn't think we were at the point, and we still don't really think we're at the point for a full album yet. We could save a few tracks for later. And through the process of recording the material that we had, and we worked with Ian Combs, an absolutely fantastic producer, things didn't end up falling behind as much as we thought. The more we listened to it and the more mixes that were done, and through the production of, pre-production all the way through mastering, nothing ever really fell to the wayside, which is a really great problem to have. Mm-hmm. So we said, let's not call it an EP, let's not call it an album, let's just call it a record. And so we're releasing this 9-track, beast of an EP, I guess you could call it. 2 songs on there have already been released, and so we're throwing those back on there. And I couldn't be more proud of what we've done and what we've accomplished in these songs on here. Every single one of those songs I'm proud of.
Awesome, awesome. And I'm sure you're very excited for Friday to show up for that release party too, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, we're playing with Repo Morning. Absolutely great band. I've known them for a while, and they've been around, and they're this great national act now, and they're really super guys. And then we're playing with AS as well. AS is releasing their CD that night as well, too, their album. And they've been working, I don't know, if I could think anyone could work harder than us, I think they have. They worked with Ian Combs as well in Minneapolis. So they're releasing that night, too. And then Signals is playing. We actually played a basement show with them, which was really cool. I had never played a basement show before. I think I'll have to do it again. It was a lot of fun. And they're going to be leaving and playing some shows out of town after that. So it's an exciting date for every single band involved in this. And we're darn near sold out for the show.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
You mentioned shows. How about tour? Looking at a tour maybe up in the upper Midwest, or for that matter, even reaching out nationally here anytime soon?
Yeah, well, I have some dates in front of me if you want to hear them.
Absolutely. Why not?
Good. So we're doing some Weekend Warrior stuff. We want to reach out now that we have this album in our hands. We want to make sure that, we're getting out regionally. So after the Fine Line on February 27th, we're going to be in Clear Lake, Wisconsin at the Sandbox Bar and Grill. And then on the 28th, we're going down to Antioch, Illinois. It's near Chicago, playing at Steve's Bar, which is going to be an exciting event. We've played down in the Chicago area before, and it was a lot of fun. Then we're going back to Mankato. It's sort of our home away from home now, at Buster's on March 7th. April 3rd, we are opening for Buck Cherry at the Medina Entertainment Center. That's going to be a really fun gig that 93X is kind enough to put us on that event. They've been backing us a lot lately, and we appreciate it so much. And then we're back to the Fine Line again as we come full circle April 4th. And we're going to be playing with Anti-Star, this band that we met when we were doing the 93X Rising Rockers competition.
Very cool, very cool. And one of these days, we'll have to get you to play up here in central Minnesota. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah. How close are you to St. Cloud?
We're less than 30 minutes away.
Because we're working on some dates, and St. Cloud has dropped several times, so definitely want to get out there.
Absolutely. And there's some festivals right around here, too, including one called Halfway Jam, which is just down the road, which just announced a lineup so far of Buck Cherry, Saving Abel, Hinder, and Puddle of Mud. So you could fit in there just perfectly, I think.
Yeah, well, we're playing, actually, and I don't have the date on me. It was emailed to me a little bit later than I could put it on the information in front of me. But we're going to be playing with, if I say Puddle of Mud, I'm probably wrong. I want to say Saliva, Puddle of Mud, and Saving Abel at the Myth.
Okay, yep.
Coming up here. And I was just allowed to announce that as of maybe a half hour ago, but now I can't remember the date. Don't I think this is why I don't do booking stuff.
Hey, don't worry about it, Dani. I will find that date, and I'll let our listeners know here too, so not a problem.
Thank you. It's greatly appreciated.
Hey, this is the last question, and maybe the biggest question of all is, how do these new Cold Kingdom fans get a hold of you and find out more information about you, and also getting a hold of this new record too that you have coming out?
Sure. Well, they can pick up the record at the release show at the Fine Line this Friday, the 20th. If there's people out of area, they can absolutely go ahead and order that through our website. Our website is coldkingdom.com. It's a great sort of landing pad and platform if anyone wants to link to our store, find out more about our tour dates, check out some lyric videos and stuff like that. Also a prep kit if anybody needs it. And that's also got a landing pad to our social media. So our Facebook and Twitter is Cold Kingdom Band. We update those pretty regularly. So if you want to find out about, the latest and greatest, or even really just stupid antics down from our practice space, those would be the places to go.
Awesome. Hey, I'm looking forward to meeting you guys sometime in person and see a show, too, and hopefully that'll be very soon. It won't be, unfortunately, this Friday, but I'll have to get to one of those shows coming up too soon.
Yeah, I'd love to see you out.
Hey, We're going to play actually one of the songs that I believe Jason sent us to a couple months ago, and I know you got a new song coming out you'll send us here soon. This is called Let It Burn. Thanks so much for joining me, Dani, once again.
Great, thank you.
Once again, that is Dani. She's the lead singer of the band Cold Kingdom, and speaking of that song, Let It Burn, it's